There's a lot of great dialogue.
Yeah.
I think the next panel is my favorite. It still will always be my favorite, where Iron Man's just leering at the new Spider Woman.
He
It's
calls
like,
her the new broad.
yeah, the new bro, Spider Woman. She calls herself. She sure is weird. And then it just keeps going, and it's like, she's awful quiet, does a lot of staring at folks, and never cracks a smile. She turns up out of nowhere, claims she's on our side, but maybe I'll just keep an eye on her. And then it ends on the single best line. Besides, she's got great legs. There's your Valentine's card right there.
That's right.
You know, the front of the card could say anything, and you open it up, and on the inside of your Valentine's Day card, it says, besides, she's got great legs.
We've got one thing in common. We're both strangers here. I should try and hit on her.
Oh, it's so bad. As you're just staring at the back of this woman as she's walking away.
As long as I got this armor, I'm one bad dude.
Shut your mouth.
Just talking about Iron Man.
You're listening to, and this is why I love comics. Andy and Mike!
Should I do it in my high voice?
Let's squeak.
And welcome to, and this is why I love comics. It's another episode. Andy and Mike is here. We're going to talk about Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. We've already talked about the first 6 issues. And we're going to come back and do 7 through 12. And how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing amazingly well at this time of recording.
Yeah.
Tomorrow may be different. But right now, amazingly well.
Enjoy the snow so far, I'm sure. I'm enjoying the snow too.
Yeah, there's plenty to enjoy.
Yes, absolutely.
We can ship it out to people who may not feel like they've got enough for themselves.
Yeah, if you want to send us your address, we'll send you some podcast snow.
Yeah, some glorious white snow. Can't guarantee that it's going to be the quality that we have here by the time it arrives.
Right. We'll send a certificate of authenticity with it, and you can enjoy that fine white stuff.
We're talking precipitation, not the other fun.
Right. Snow. Yeah. Yes.
That was one of my favorite things about Miami Vice. I don't know, going back now, this is going to, again, grouchy, grumpy old men talking about old times, but Miami Vice, that whole show, the sole reason why it existed was to find new ways to reference cocaine. And it's like angel powder, the mine dust. They just threw out every euphemism they could for cocaine. And it was just episode after episode of them struggling to find a new way to reference cocaine.
Right. Pixie dust.
Yeah. Nose candy. They had it all. Even at the time, like, everybody was so into it, and I just remember thinking, like, boy, this is just a one-trick pony of a show.
Pretty much. I don't remember my Miami Vice too much.
Yeah, I don't remember much either, other than a lot of pastels and flashy cars. Crap ton of Phil Collins music.
Some speedboats.
Not that I was complaining about that, but I will say there are plenty of times where I'm driving around at, like, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. The roads are empty. I do want to feel like there's a Phil Collins song playing. This is just me in the road.
Yeah, I got my core space that
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter waited over a year and a half for. It was trapped in some boat in China.
Was it worth the wait?
Of course it was. They do a good job there, so I think it was worth the wait.
Perfect.
And then my dog instantly ate a piece of it when I opened the first package up, so that was fun, trying to get a piece of cardboard out of my dog's mouth, and then it just kind of looked like a weathered piece of cardboard. So, I mean, it would have fit in with the scenery. It was just like an acid dripping piece of cardboard. Luckily, they're going to replace it, but But I mean, it's mine now, so I can't take it back. I paid for it like a year and a half ago too, so whatever.
Yeah. Now, do you see that as being an investment, and then you remind yourself of it being a purchase at that time, or do you see it as like, holy crap, it's been this long, and it's like I got a free cool gift.
Right? Yeah, it's been
Thanks,
paid
past
for.
self.
Right? Yeah, definitely the latter of that. I see it as a free gift that I've already paid for and I've already worked and sold things for, and this was just a late Christmas gift to myself.
I mean, there is a lot that I've got from Kickstarter that I really enjoyed, and then there's some stuff that I have mint in package, sealed yet to this day. You picked anything up from Kickstarter that you're like, ooh, and you don't have to call it out, but just like where you got it, and then when you got it, you're like, yeah, that was a bad idea, not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Kickstarter. I regret having to put money into that now, but it
That
was.
was exactly mine as well.
But board games
Yeah,
and
I was.
stuff, I'm very happy with what I bought board game wise. I should have gotten the Monster Apocalypse one that they were doing, but I didn't. But yeah, the Mystery Science
That's
Theater
right. I did see that.
was so disappointing. Not because of the potential. I'm glad that they did what they wanted to do and everything, but just when they decided to go with Netflix, I thought, well, why am I even putting money involved in this? Because you're going to go to a major, like when I thought it was more underground and it was going to be a bit more raw. I thought maybe I wanted to be more involved in that than oh, it's just going to be on a regular streaming service. And
Yeah.
then when they got Patton Oswalt and some of the other characters, some of the robots, their voices were similar. Just some of their choices I didn't like and appreciate, and I didn't think it was very funny. There was some. I mean, I'm not saying it was totally terrible, but I could have used that money somewhere else.
I kind of was hoping, and this was even like, I don't know if it's delusional or if it was just something that I was really, really like behind it. I was the same, 100% behind exactly what you just said. It was not exactly what I had hoped it to be. I thought it was going to be, again, we would be part of a secret club, the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Club, who helped bring it back, and we'll have access to it, and this will be us. And then they said, it's on Netflix, and it's free for everybody who has Netflix. It's like, I just dumped a ton of money into this program, only to find out that it's now going to be open and accessible to everyone. So all I got, it's one of those things where it's like, I bought the Kickstarter, and all I got to show for it was this lousy T-shirt.
Right.
That's the only thing I have that no one else has got, in comparison, or relatively speaking, that kind of a deal. The aspect of it being that I was hoping that it was going to be, it wasn't a good first season. This revival wasn't that funny. Had, like you said, some funny spots. And I was hoping it would have been, something that suffered like the first season glitches, like, the U.S. Office. The first season of the U.S. Office, while it was funny, wasn't as good as following seasons. And especially like the best example of that was the Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. He was like, if Will Riker has a beard, it's a good. If he doesn't have a beard, then it's a bad episode. And then if Avery Brooks has hair, that Deep Space Nine episode is going to suck. But if he's bald, then you're going to be in a good shape. So it's kind of like I was hoping it was that way. And then when they did get the second season going and I tried to make my way through it, it's like, nope, it wasn't that for success. First season, like a freshman year of like, I gotta get used to it, gotta get into the rhythm. I've supported Riff Tracks and their Kickstarter efforts, and they've just been able to maintain that momentum. They're still amazingly funny. They came right off of Mystery Science Theater when that ended, and then they jumped right into this Riff Tracks. Well, they did a series in between, the film crew. But then they did the riff tracks from there, and it's like they've been nonstop, and their stuff is constantly hilarious. But this new Mystery Science Theater stuff, it's like, maybe it was just like a learning curve, a very steep learning curve, and they hadn't quite got up to speed. And I agree wholeheartedly that they got big names, celebrities behind it. Well, somewhat big names, the Patton Oswalt and the Felicia Day, but then I think they should have put the money behind getting good writers instead.
Yep.
And what appealed about Mr. Science, at least to me, was that this was all like, these are the people you would know. These are people you'd see down the street. These were like people next door that, they were just making fun of movies because they could. They weren't trying to make fun of movies, because they're like high-end professionals and they were, stage comedians and so forth. And it's like, so that when all of a sudden, a TV's Frank is one thing, because that dude, you just saw him as TV's Frank. But then when you see Patton Oswalt up there, it's like, that's Patton Oswalt.
There were some good episodes of the new Mr. Science Theater, but even I watched a half hour of Riff Tracks and laughed my butt off 10 times more than I did the entire season of Mystery Science Theater. And I didn't even watch all the second season. Like, there's still probably half of it that I never watched. It was just not fun to watch. It was just not funny at all. They just it was all scripted. It seemed scripted. Nothing seemed like off the cuff, and none of it seemed generally funny, disappointing. And even when we saw the Mads live, they were funny.
Oh, yeah. That was just two of them, and they were doing their own stuff. They were writing it, performing it.
Yeah.
It was just them, Frank and Trace.
Out of everything, the Mystery Science Theater stuff was the most disappointing, and the Riff Tracks was just hilarious.
And then even the offshoots of Riff Tracks, meaning when it's Bridget Nelson and Mary Jo Pearl, those are getting better too. But yeah, if it's Mike, Kevin, and Bill Corbett, yeah, those three, holy crap, that's pure comedy. That's comedy gold. Well, hey, speaking of comedy gold, we've got 6 more issues of comedy gold in Secret Wars. I wouldn't say this was action and adventure, but it was definitely comedy.
There is some comedy, yeah, definitely. This is
Comedy of errors.
This is the Valentine's Day episode of our podcast, so let's try and find more romance and love in this next set of series.
So we should call this Victoria's Secret Wars.
Right, absolutely. I'm sure there's going to be some lingerie, and
the Enchantress is coming around.
That's right. Maybe another bath scene with Captain Marvel.
Yes. Yeah.
And what I'm secretly hoping for is another couple of panels of the Hulk and Captain America, just professing their love.
They don't call him the Green Goliath for nothing.
Yeah, issues 7 through 12. Of course, this is from 1984-85. And as we talked about before, this was basically a toy grab. I read up a little bit more on the initial ideas for this series. We were talking about on the last episode how Doctor Doom looked different eventually, about how his armor looked different. And I guess they were doing some focus groups. They said kids wanted more high-tech and less medieval-looking armor. So that's why they changed Doctor Doom's armor to something a little more futuristic, I guess.
And we can talk about that as we get a little further into the series, but especially when we want to hit up the fact of ramifications. This was a big company-wide event, but cross comics, all sorts of stuff. When it was all said and done, it's kind of like, and 4 things may have come out of it, and that was about it.
Yeah.
But we can hit that up in a little bit. Let's kind of tackle the issues and find love between the pages.
Right. Okay. Issue 7 opens up with the emergence of Spider-Woman in the now familiar black costume look-alike. I mean, she didn't have black. It was more like of a bluish black. I don't know. But Spider-Woman appears. I guess she was in part of the city that was also taken from Earth, that little suburb of Denver, where all the other Doctor Doom women were taken from as well, I guess.
Yeah, kind of like abducted, nothing but a city of women.
Right, yeah, definitely abducted is a good word for Doctor Doom, the creepy...
Yeah, well, I guess if your face is like that and you have to hide it behind metal, maybe that's the only way. Can't get mail-order brides to Latveria.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Got to get them from a city that got transplanted from Earth into Battle World.
Yeah, I'm not sure who I would have said Doctor Doom should hook up with on this series. Probably with one of the two that he had in his utility belt.
Yeah, his Tupperware containers of ladies.
Right, yeah. But I guess probably of the heroes, I mean, why not the Wasp? She gets around. Issue 7 opens up with Spider-Woman, and then the Wrecking Crew kind of shows up while they're introducing Spider-Woman in this big red tank, and they throw out the body of the Wasp, which, of course, all the heroes, they didn't know really what happened to her. And the Wrecking Crew kind of, I think she took a laser bolt through the chest, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Blasted clean through her.
And then that's when she was with the lizard. And so they try and get to heal her in the town where Zaji, alien healer, is, but she claims that she can't. She has no power in healing the already dead Wasp. And so, of course, they all get mad that this happened. I mean, technically, the Wasp is the first to die.
Well, it kind of depends, of the heroes. Yeah, I mean, Ultron got blown up by Galactus right in issue 1.
True.
But then, obviously, quickly reassembled by Doctor Doom.
Oh,
I'm kind of surprised he didn't throw a lady's body inside of Ultron while he's rebuilding her.
That's probably did. And of course, Kang died early on too by
True,
Doctor
yeah, he
Doom.
got disintegrated.
So they all want revenge for the Wasp's death. I mean, the Galactus is still building his Planet Eater machine up above on the mountain, and they can all see that. And Captain America doesn't want to go, so they kind of had a debate right there. And you see She-Hulk leaving, angry, and you just know that that's probably not going to end
lead
well.
to anything good.
No, probably not. And then we see the X-Men have been teaming up with Magneto. A lot of the storyline for the X-Men it revolves around Professor X and how he's not used to being in the field, but he's giving all these orders like he
owns the place.
That he kind of supersedes Cyclops and Storm's authority of being able to lead the group and everything like that. And of course he can walk now because I think he's in a cloned body, and so he doesn't need the wheelchair right now. So he's feeling some freedom that he hasn't felt before. So that's probably a part of it too. And I kind of like that characterization where they just are using his inexperienced, also trying to have him learn. And Jim Shooter did a good job of having all the characters have a little story arc, and I think Xavier's story arc was kind of interesting, and I wasn't expecting it. Certainly not when I first read it, and I didn't know where they were going to go with it, so that was kind of neat. Molecule Man is wounded from a fight from the last issue because Wolverine sliced him up. The villains are retreating back to Doom Base, try and get Molecule Man some help, and then they're intercepted by the X-Men again, and there's another big battle. And probably the most exciting thing in this battle was Wolverine cutting Absorbing Man's arm right off, just slicing it up.
That's why he's got 3 blades on his arm, is that the first blade lifts hair, and then the second blade cuts it really smooth and close to the face.
Right, it was so easy.
Oh, yeah, it was just like, phoomp.
It even says, "Get out of my way."
And done. Yeah, that was kind of, I wouldn't say it was graphic because Absorbing Man at the time was a rock, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But it is interesting how Magneto can quickly, make little effort, takes out Dr. Octopus. Because those are metal arms. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. One of those, you never really see Dr. Octopus and Magneto duke it out. But at the same point, with the great amount of ease he had in taking out Dr. Octopus, I still come back to the struggle he had with making a stupid comb. And it's like, you can manipulate these 4 mechanical arms with ease and no effort while flying at speeds and from a distance, but to make a comb. Dang it, I'm breaking a sweat.
I mean, let's be honest. Magneto could have taken that ship that all the bad guys were in and just crushed them all if he wanted to. And there would have been, 1 page instead of 4 of a battle here.
And this is, honestly, of all the secret wars, being the emphasis, This is probably one of the longest battles in the entire series. Final conflict is probably the absolute longest and drawn out. But this one of a group against a group is probably the longest.
We get to Galactus finally sensing Doctor Doom, who's skulking around Galactus's ship, and he kind of ejects him, expels him, it says. Galactus
Poops him out.
just gets back to work. So Doom, hurtles back to the battle world.
Moving to Absorbing Man's apparently newfound ability.
Yeah, he was scared with his severed arm that he would go bleed out or something, so he attaches it and turns back to human at the same time, hoping that'll work. And it does. He says it really hurts really bad, but it's interesting take on it. You don't really want the character in the Secret Wars to bleed out. It's not good for selling toys. Bleed out Absorbing Man toy.
Yep. Fill the Kool-Aid in the back of his container.
Push his left arm down and blood squirts out his right.
Such action features. There's a little, his Secret Wars lenticular shield. You can tilt it left and right and watch him. Oh, arm on, arm off. Arm on, arm off.
Right.
Just angle it around.
They should really make that now. They should go back and redo these figures.
Yeah, retrofit it. Somebody's going to make one.
You could have burnt to the crisp Doctor Doom figure and whiny lizard figure.
Molecule Man and Volcana making out.
Creepy Doc Ock with binoculars. And,
yeah, his peeping binoculars. Why is his mechanical arm so stiff?
and where are two of them? I can't even see where they are. And have them come with
They got minds of their own.
have them be in a play set with a bathtub, or something.
Yeah. And a towel accessory.
That's right. The wrecking crew tries to get some shut-eye, and there's a big hole in the Doom base, as if someone or something came crashing through. We find out She-Hulk already made it to their base, and starts duking it out to try and get revenge for the Wasp. And she starts beating up the wrecking crew. Can't everybody?
Yeah, she's taking them all out. The exception of that Titania.
Yeah, I guess maybe they're just trying to showcase that their strength levels are about the same. And then more villains come to try and beat up She-Hulk, who, again, is the only one from the good guys that made it to Doom Base. The Enchantress skulks around, finds Dr. Doom, who collapses on his bed and seems to be, just done with everything.
I give up.
I'm finished.
It's over. Finished.
I miss the good old days of issues 1 through 6.
Yeah, when I was somebody to be reckoned with.
The X-Men tell Captain America, hey, we'll watch Galactus. If something happens, we'll let you know. And so that gives them permission to go to Doom Base and fight. One, to save She-Hulk, and then to get revenge for the Wasp. And that's how issue 7 ends. Pretty straightforward. After the first 6 issues, things are starting to wrap up. I don't want to say it wrapped up in issue 7, but I think at this point we've seen a lot of fights, so they kind of want to
Itchy and Scratchy cartoon.
Right, yeah. And there's just, it's kind of gets repetitive a little bit. I think that's kind of what we're feeling.
Yeah, yep. Because issue 7 picks up right where issue 6 left off of. Let's do some more fighting.
Right. Hey, if you didn't get enough fighting, here's another issue of fighting.
A drunken enchantress who basically is pining over the loss. Volcana, you gotta save my ootsy wootsy molecule man.
Oh, Owen, we'll save you, Owen.
It's crap. And then the Claw character, almost instantly annoying, just in his madcap, weird ramblings and.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Jar Jar, where he just every time he's on the panel, You're just like, oh, okay, ha ha
yeah,
ha. That's right.
something for the kids.
Of course, issue 8 has the iconic Spider-Man new costume cover. Um,
Yeah, the
and
one
the
takeaway.
and the one issue that's worth anything. But the heroes get to Doom Base, so they interrupt their She-Hulk beating and split up and kind of go towards the sounds of the heroes.
Human Torch conveniently, and the entire Doom base flies under the only water reservoir in the whole place.
Yeah, convenient.
And once again, apparently Dr. Octopus's mechanical arms are his own undoing. Last issue, Magneto ties him up with his arms. This issue, Thor ties him up with his own arms.
Yeah, you'd think he'd get tired of that. And
Yeah, again, talking about the repetitiveness of these battles, nothing really that innovative is happening. And I think I may have mentioned this, but the dialogue, this is where that one line that's just garbage, referencing Hawkeye, and then Hawkeye from MASH, the TV show. And it is extremely weak, and it just keeps going and going.
'Cause I reckon this good old boy is gonna mash you.
Yeah. It was like it's like Velveeta level of cheese. And then, Lordy, I'm wounded, as he takes an arrow from Hawkeye.
We get the Enchantress and the Hulk, and they do some flirting. I mean,
Oh yeah. Yeah, which would, obviously what happens in that same page? Captain America checks in on this love triangle. What's going on?
right? He's always watching out for the Hulk, and
Yeah, what have you done to my Hulk? Oh no, it says the Hulk, sorry.
yep, I think there's a love child somewhere in Battle World. I think
Yeah, I think his interests were elsewhere because, like, the Enchantress, her whole power is about seduction, and she couldn't pull it over on Cap because I think his heart was already called for.
I
Somebody
think
else
so.
had dibs on it.
I mean, he does say, "Give it up, Enchantress. Like you don't have any sway on me."
Yeah, and then it's like, you're well strong. We should have to do this the hard way. So yeah, there's some back and forths that are not so subtle.
Kind of like that. So I like Captain Marvel. I wish they would would have used her more, but
At least made an action figure of her.
right. Well, that's
A toy.
that's a lot of my
The whole
problem with
purpose
this
of whole
series. Yeah, it says most of these characters never got an action figure, and I don't understand why.
I think it was like the series did one thing and the toys did another. It's like, you can, we'll share the same name, Secret Wars, but you're going to do your thing, we'll do our thing. And that was about the end of it. I do like the fact that clearly Molecule Man is wrapped up in bandages. And then when she does, Captain Marvel captures or wraps her arms around him, it's like Volcano comes back and says, "No, stop, you're pulling his wounds open." Wounds? This guy's got like half his body is covered in bandages. And she goes, "Wounds?" As if like, oh, that's what this was?
Oh yeah, I didn't
I
know.
thought that was like, you guys had some sort of weird, Chipotle, crossplay thing going on where you were going to wrap yourself up like a burrito.
Right.
It's like, what the heck? Why would you ever think over the costume? These bandages sit over the costume. That's the right way to put a medical, bandages.
Right. Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Solid storytelling there.
Right. So all the heroes eventually beat out the villains. They find She-Hulk. She's badly wounded. So everybody gets thrown in a healing tank or some such thing. Doctor Doom is still smoking from his expulsion from Galactus' ship. And Captain America finds him, but kind of assumes he's harmless just because he's mopey. Which, I mean, for being the leader of the group, I think that was really a bad call by Captain America.
Yeah. Because Cujo is asleep, it doesn't mean that he's not a rabid dog.
Right. Colossus, back at the village, he decides he wants to do a bong with the healer as well. So he does a little bong trip, and they have a little flashback about what's going on because he found her, I don't know, somewhere, and she was passed out. And come to find out that the healer brought the wasp back to life.
But at a great personal cost.
It can't be. She's still in that terrible costume. And the story ends with Spider-Man getting his famous costume and Galactus preparing to eat the planet.
Now, I do ask a quick question here. How did Spider-Man get that new costume? Is that he was told, hey, if you go back to this weird machine over here, it'll give you a new costume. It's like, okay, cool. So who is it that's telling him that if you go back here, you'll get a new costume? It's Thor and Hulk. And it's because they both got new costumes because Thor needed to get a cape. But apparently, the Hulk is just perfectly fine with those purple rag pants because he got a new costume of rags.
Right. Purple rag pants.
Dude, get some freaking clothes that fit you.
Yeah,
if you had all the things you could do with that, if you're getting new costumes, it's literally, and this is smart Hulk. This isn't like the dumb like Hulk smash. This is like, he even says it. He's like, it's in there, Spider-Man. You just think it, and it produces any sort of cloth or clothing you want. And apparently he decided that purple ripped pants were going to be the thing he just continued to want.
Well, you got to go with your trademark, you know.
Yeah, I guess if it was going to look like the figure, but there was no Hulk figure.
There wasn't even a Hulk figure?
No.
But there was a Daredevil figure, but no Hulk.
Correct.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah, and two Spider-Mans. You know, obviously the toy line created the regular red and blue costume Spider-Man and this black costume Spider-Man. Yeah.
You know, probably with the Hulk, he didn't have Captain America, and Captain America...
Yeah, and if you can't have one, you can't have the other. Well, they did make a Captain America figure, though.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So maybe it wasn't, maybe Hulk was like under the mindset of like, well, if they're not going to do a Captain America figure, they're not going to have my figure. And then Captain America's like, oh, go ahead, make a figure of me. I won't tell the Hulk. It's for America, after all.
Issue 9, Galactus is going to eat the planet, which, I kind of would have been okay with.
Yep, 3/4 of the way through the series, finally Galactus is doing something.
He's attacked by these giant putters, is what you called them last time? Golf ball?
Yeah, they look like golf balls with
Wiffle
golf
balls.
tees coming out of them.
Yeah, and
these are the weirdest defense mechanisms ever.
Yeah, and the X-Men get attacked and beaten up again.
Yeah, that's pretty much their lot in life.
And I like how on page 4 or whatever, one of the golf ball, wiffle balls blows up, and then from the village you see this big atomic explosion on the mountain, and Hawkeye and the Wasp and Captain Marvel are just looking at it and thinking, wow, the X-Men were up there. I guess they're all dead. So all the good guys are heading back to the mountain. You get the Hulk in his new rags, moping around still. Reed Richards can't fly a ship because he's having a flashback.
Yep, completely distracted.
That's right. We see a bunch of little heads again, which I think this series is now famous for.
Yep, just these head clusters. Just, I got a smattering of heads here, a smattering of heads here, a pinch of a face over here. I think Galactus must be the key. And it's like, you mean this guy who's about ready to eat the entire planet?
Right.
Yeah, I think that might be a sign that he could be a key player in this whole thing.
Maybe we should stop him.
The smartest man in the Marvel universe.
It's true.
But Colossus proves, he was like right there at the right moment, left the healer lady, ran across the planet, ran specifically without knowing why, up a hill, came up to the very top of the hill just to catch a ship that had crash landed.
Well,
Coincidence?
I think love was in the air. He was feeling. He was feeling the Valentine's Day.
I will prove my love for you.
I don't need you anymore, Katya. I have Zaja.
Yeah, some are loving. Doesn't quite get crushed under the ship, but just kind of like he catches it and then somehow lands next to it.
Right. What was I thinking? Trying to catch a ship. But Reed Richards and Galactus disappear. They have a little meeting, and I'm not sure anything comes of it. Dr. Doom wakes up, figures out that maybe he can still do some stuff. He rescues Claw, the most useless character. The X-Men eventually meet up with all the other heroes, so they're all together, where they kind of decide again, hey, we should probably attack Galactus, which is what they did at the beginning of the book, and of course that's what they're going to do at the end of the book.
Yeah, there were some weird revelations. Obviously the love triangle of Colossus, Johnny Storm, and the Healer rears its head again. Almost instantly, it's there, then it's gone, and then they move on. Because literally the Healer comes up and it's like, Johnny, and Johnny's like, oh, Jazzy, or whatever. And then the next panel, she's gone. The Healer's gone. Never seen again.
He said, Zsa, I'll tumble for ya.
Yeah. I will die for you. And then, Reed Richards does show up, and he adds one more level to his ego by saying, I am a force of the universe. Or at least Galactus said so. My mom says I'm special.
And after a brief battle, Galactus absorbs his own ship. Something like that. He absorbs his own ship to get the energy he needs to fight the Beyonder. And, of course, that is part of Doom's plan. And we get to issue 10. Wow, we're only in issue 10. There's still like 3 more issues. And issue 12 is an extra size issue. So, I mean, wow. This could have been an 8-issue miniseries, I think.
Yeah, or even less if you really wanted to do a meaningful series. Because with as many back and forth battles and these quasi love triangles and then introducing characters halfway through it was a big deal to bring these select heroes, these select villains, and then hey, Spider-Woman showed up. Hey, Volcana just made an appearance. Hey, Titania just showed up, and then even as we go on, there'll be more characters. Hey, Claw just showed up.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what was the big deal at the first few issues with these other characters? Didn't matter because anybody can show up, apparently.
I'm beginning to understand why we struggled the first time we tried to record this series and how we came across as not too excited about the last 6 issues.
6 issues.
I think issues. I'm seeing a pattern how we're not getting really excited about the last 6 issues now either.
Yeah, it's like, how do you say the same thing over and over again and try to keep it fresh? It's just, this series did that. This was trying to do, here's another battle, and here's Dr. Doom going up and trying to steal stuff from Galactus, and Galactus saying no, and then here's, and it just goes back and forth, back. It's the same core concepts over and over and over again.
Issue 10 opens up and everybody gets more radiation poisoning from explosions and absorptions, and I think they're all destined to die in the next couple of weeks anyway because of all that energy that is just getting flown around. You can see their skeletons and stuff on page 2 that they're absorbing so much.
I do like that because, again, the smartest man in the Marvel Universe says, cover your eyes, look away, or you'll be blinded. Yet this is something that hits him with so much radiation that you can see through, and you can see the skeletons. So how would covering your eyes with your eyelids or looking away stop the radiation?
Right.
I mean, you might as well just say duck and cover.
Right. And none of them do it anyway, so they're all blinded anyway. Not one has covered their eyes.
No, not a chance at all. But this is a crappy series when it ends. it just gets bogged down. It's like, this is one of those things where it's like that, and I referenced it in some other thing. Dances with Wolves. That movie had 10 different endings because it's like, oh, that was a good ending. Oh crap! No, the movie keeps going. Okay, I guess he's going to walk away from this. Oh, nope. They're all going to move out of that area. And oh, no, they're suffering through a winter. Oh, that'd be a good ending. Nope, they're still going. This series just keeps going long over extending its welcome or its stay.
Right. It's like the Lord of the Rings at the Return of the King. The last 20 minutes is ending after ending after ending.
Yeah. It's just like, you didn't need to go back to the Shire and see what happened there. Yeah. It could have ended when Aragorn was crowned king and called it good.
We get Captain Marvel flying to Doom Base, and she oversees Doctor Doom lounging on a bed, absorbing Galactus energy. I like how Doctor Doom's arms are just straight up over his head, like he's on a beach somewhere, and he's just laying down. It's like, oh yeah, stand fast, Captain Marvel. This is Professor X. I'm linking your mind. Hey, maybe you should take another bath.
I'm not going to be snooping. Not that I can't, see things from great distances or read through people's minds and memories, but yeah, I'm not snooping at all.
Doctor Doom is all powerful suddenly. He can sense everything and everywhere.
And even some of that, it's like, well, I can understand you're trying to be a little trippy with the whole, like how do you wrap your head, a human with all this infinite power? But one thing that is funny, though, and again goes back to the perviness of this whole series, when he thinks about his fellow villains, all of them are kind of small. In fact, some of them are just collections of heads, except for the sensuous body of the Enchantress. That one's got a pretty sizable section of that panel dedicated to her.
Well, Mike Zeck's no fool. He knows what he likes to draw.
Yeah, well, he does have his doctorate, Dr. Doom has his doctorate, and that's what he wants to focus on too.
Right, yeah. Dr. Doom gets his new high-tech action figure armor. Yeah, I'm really getting bored with this series. And I like this series. Well, I did. I like the first 6 issues.
And it's like almost, because like even the art is getting like it's bored of itself. Because like when Doom returns, the compositions, the backgrounds, all of it starts to just go away. It is very loose at best. It's almost like this is someone's sketchbook and not necessarily the best that I've ever seen Mike Zeck draw. I mean, like backgrounds are like maybe one panel has a background and the rest of it is just, explosion lines or, barely there stuff. So it's just, even Mike Zeck is getting tired of the series.
Right, yeah. Doom and Beyonder are duking it out, and everybody on Battle World is feeling it. Like things are getting destroyed, people are getting hurt. Human Torch calls the healer Zhaji Chippy. Now that's a word you don't hear very often, Chippy. But I guess in the 80s, did you even hear that word a lot? I don't remember that word a lot.
No, that was not in the common vernacular. I mean, when I was, running around with my, hula hoops and roller skates, that was not something that I overheard people say.
Right.
On the regular crap. I mean, there's no one ever said that.
Mostly a Doctor Doom story, this issue. He, finds the inner strength within himself to overcome the Beyonder's power, and we see at the end of the series, or end of this issue anyway, that he has won, and he is this godlike power of Beyonder, and he wants to talk to the heroes, saying the war is over. And I mean, even reading this as a kid, I didn't have a clue where the direction it was going to go after this issue. It's like, I remember going, oh no, what's going to happen now? This definitely became a Doctor Doom series towards the end,
Yeah, and even the Robert Kirkman, not Kirkman, what was his name? Hickman, or I think it was Hickman that did Secret
Jonathan.
Wars, the most current version. It was all Doctor Doom centric as well there too.
It was, okay.
Yeah. Wasn't bad. I mean, better writing, less perv, but
I'm beginning to think we liked the series because it was pervy,
Yeah, the unintentional / intentional. Like, as a kid, a lot of stuff just goes over your head. Now, as an adult, you're like going, this is not so subtle in
Right.
some cases, because it was like, well, okay.
This isn't good.
Yeah.
Right. No one else caught this?
Yeah. Who's editing this? Oh, Tom DeFalco was like going, yeah, I'm the editor, but I think the big boss is technically Jim Shooter, so
Right.
I'm just going to let him do what he wants to do.
Issue 11, Dr. Doom has lost his scars, and
Yep.
he looks normal.
Yeah. What do you do when you have vast cosmic powers? A little plastic surgery. And it's like, is that what you really want yourself to look like? Gigantic owl-like eyes and a kind of brownish red curly hair? I guess.
And there's a lot of talking. Molecule Man versus Doom. Basically, Doom could care less about all his allies now, which, I mean, that's kind of in character. And
Yep, he's
all
got
the
all this power. He doesn't need anybody else.
right, all the villains decide to just bail, and
Yep. And they just lounge around at the dullest party of all time.
right, we're gonna go back to the apartment that I used to live in, and we're just gonna sit around on the couch for the next 6 months while we travel through space.
Yeah, and the thing is they had a crazy high-tech headquarters of their own. Doom had his own place, but they had their own. And yet, instead of going back to this super high-tech luxury pad, they're like, let's just go into a cramped, poorly furnished apartment in a chunk of a city that's been transplanted onto a different planet.
Right, that will get us nowhere. Like, there's no high tech stuff that we could search through.
No, she might have a microwave in that place. That might be it.
Right, and don't forget, the Enchantress could teleport places. So I mean, she could technically have gotten some of these people out of there now that the Beyonder's gone. I bet, but why even bother? Doom summons all the heroes
with very nice penmanship.
Very nice
where
at
he
dusk.
Scratches it on the wall.
And the Colossus Zsaji romance starts to kick in. Peter gives Zsaji some flowers that he picked outside her house. I mean, that's what Valentine's Day is all about, right? I mean, come on. It's pure romance. And then his fellow Uncanny X-Men people just make fun of him anyway, 18 hours later at Doom Bay, so I never even remembered that caption before. So they waste 18 hours doing nothing.
Dr. Doom's got all this power. They're just standing around talking about love, romance, and ain't getting any at Doom Base.
That's right. Dr. Doom welcomes the heroes to his yellow crystal headquarters. He resurrects a disintegrated Kang and then sends him on his way.
Once more.
Yeah, that's right. So again, Kang was in one panel and gone.
Yep, and then that was the same Kang that, as a toy, was probably the biggest peg warmer on the store shelf. This series didn't know what to do with him. Can you imagine what little kids had no idea who this character was going to do with a toy? So the toy just rotted.
Right. So let me get this straight. They make a Doctor Doom toy. They make a Kang toy, who is just
with you so far.
basically Doctor Doom light. They can't make a Hulk figure? What is going on there? I don't understand.
I don't know if they were, Hulk was too complex a character or too fanciful of a character. So, I mean, if they wanted to get rid of the armor of Doctor Doom, which he's had for decades, to go with a tech costume that he'll never wear again for a kid's toy, then certainly they were going to do a shirtless green Hulk dude.
Yeah. They should have done a shirtless Captain America, too.
Oh, man, that could be a variant.
Sleeping Captain America.
Lounging around with some bunny slippers or something.
That's right. The riveting, snoring action of Captain America. Comes with a pillow and bruises on his body from dealing with the Hulk. I'm torn because I don't really want to see another battle, but some of these conversations are pointless too. So yeah, I'm torn on what I would have been happy to see. Maybe the end of the book.
that would be a bonus. Certainly would be a bonus. Yeah, and there's also the universal expression of shirtless equals love.
I mean,
Because here we go again with Colossus as a shirtless equaling love, and this time again the pervy Professor X picks that right at that moment to go, "Hey, Colossus, what you doing?"
Go away, Professor. But Colossus.
You don't want me just lingering around here in the back of your head for a while, do you?
Right,
Just
as you were.
So I mean, her fickleness is there as well because she was all like she skipped right over him in order to get to Johnny, who apparently threw her away at the very next panel. But he brings some probably pollen-ridden, allergy-inducing ragweed, and she's all like, "You had me at dandelion." And then Colossus has a breakdown because of his girlfriend. To be pointless because they get exploded the very next page.
That's right. And all the heroes die.
Kapoof.
And that's how the series should have ended.
It would have been a little less secret because then there would have been no heroes left on the planet. That should have been the end of issue 5, but nope, that was the end of issue 11.
Oh, man. Issue 11.
Whew.
Issue 12 was $1. All these were 75 cents.
We broke into the big bucks. $1 for some serious amount of action.
It opens up with Captain America's shield all damaged and in pieces. This issue, it had its moments. I liked parts of it. I liked the idea that Doom was led to believe that maybe his own power, his own doubts and stuff, created the chance for the heroes to come back. I don't know. It was just kind of jumped all over the place. I mean, it was an extra size issue, so they had to wrap up all these storylines with the villains, and maybe they spent too much time with the villains to my liking.
Yeah, there's only so many times that these guys, the Wrecking Crew, can get beat up. Because, I mean, the Wrecking Crew in the company, they basically were like, yeah, they were literally lounging around that apartment for a long time, and they're like, well, this is what we're doing.
Right.
Like, there's a scene where they're pacing, and one dude's, like, reading a book, and then, Enchantress decides that she wants to take a bath. That's what you can do when you're super villains. It's bath time.
Right. You get pervy, water elemental.
Yeah, that gets awkward really quick.
Yeah, just some of the poses. I think we talked about it in the previous. Kind of like, I mean, is this Comic Code Authority pose? I mean, wow, that is like very suggestive.
Yeah, well-placed droplets, let's say.
Yeah.
There.
Enchantress, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I mean, 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's like, what the heck?
Right.
A flashback of just moments ago is not worth a flashback. It's not even like of a previous issue. It's in the same issue. Our attention span may be bad, but not that bad. And this one, I think of any of the issues, this issue is the one that's guilty of the most dramatic shifts in artwork. I mean, there are some like from panel to panel and definitely page to page. These things are it's all over the place. Some of it's really, really poor. And then others is like, holy crap, that's an incredible page.
Right, yeah, it's like they had a couple different art teams.
Stepping up, and because I mean, like the lizard scales in some pages are just like, it's like, is he made out of Play-Doh? It's like it's something like one of my kids would have made way back when in elementary school. Like, right. This is a lizard. And
certainly didn't always look like Mike Zeck, that's for sure.
Yeah, clearly not. But then, like, when Dr. Doom when Thor's hammer comes in through the walls and he realizes the heroes are back up and running again, the art just goes right down the turlet. The next page is just like it is someone's sketchbook because there's not solid blacks. It is just scrapey little lines here or there. Again, very little background, just enough to suggest an environment. And then this power is just those wavy little spikes that you make. Whenever you drew the sun as a kid and you decided you wanted to show the sun's rays, that's what this looks like. Yeah. That is his power from beyond, is like the happy sun that you drew as a kid. But then, yeah, like you said, it jumps right into, I'm going to throw a giant monster. And it's like, what? And even the thing basically says what we're all thinking. Where in the blue blazes did that come from?
Right, yeah, it just seems out of place. All these creatures, like none of them seem to fit in with the rest of the book. It's like someone had their 6-year-old child. What kind of creature should I have, son? And then, let's throw this out here. I drew this on the back of the book here, Dad. Maybe you should include this.
It's quote unquote based off of the Claw, who was sound. He could now make legitimate living, breathing creatures instead. With the heroes coming back, obviously they all came back and their costumes are all intact, even down to Spider-Man having his new costume, right?
Right.
So they came out of nowhere. Iron Man's armor, in fact, is back and is just like brand new. It's as if it's never had anything happen to it. Why is Captain America's shield still torn up? Everything else survived the battle, or the being exploded and then brought back. But then all of a sudden Captain America's shield isn't right.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Then the art goes from weird, bad to obviously Art Adams stepped in and did some pages.
Yeah, it's probably the best page in the whole book.
Yeah, he did at least 2 of them. There's the one, and it usually has to do with the monsters.
Yeah.
But yeah, the best pages, clearly the best pages in this whole thing, are those 2 pages that Art Adams did.
Yep.
And then it goes back to being really just like, I have to wrap it up, and the editor needs these pages in a day and a half, and I just need to burn through these 20 pages that are left.
Then we have Captain America and Dr. Doom duke it out. Dr. Doom keeps killing Captain America, but Captain America keeps coming back. They don't really explain it how he does that. I guess sheer force of will, or Dr. Doom, or is it the Claw or Beyonder? I'm not sure. Somehow they keep coming back to Captain America keeps coming back, and then Dr. Doom, I don't want to say gives up. He is defeated. The series pretty much concludes with that battle. We find out Zaji died, and pretty much nothing else ever happened.
But then, they're at that, Johnny Storm doesn't stay or linger or even get close to the funeral, the burial site of a once former love. Gone, not even there.
Right.
But then Spider-Man, speaking out loud, decides that one of the main features that he found that his costume could do is that it could open up to allow him to eat. Professor X, though, gets a spanky new costume that I don't know, does he ever wear it any other time ever?
I hope not.
Yeah, that bright yellow with a big X on the front of it.
Captain America forges his shield again. Sheer force of will.
He could have, used that sheer force of will to strengthen his love for the Hulk, but nope, it was the love for his shield.
And then people start leaving Battle World to get back to their own lives.
Which is odd, because Reed is the one who comes up with it. So at what point could he have just done this since the beginning? This is the Dorothy's ruby slippers in the movie version of Wizard of Oz. It's like she could have clicked her heels together the moment she got those shoes and gone home.
Right. It was within you all this time.
Yeah. All you had to do is this. And it's like, what? You could have told me this long ago? So here's Reed going like, hey, look what I just made. I think they could have got us home long ago.
Right. Why didn't I think of this in the first place? Oh, you read the Hickman Secret Wars. Now, was the more modern Secret Wars, was that tied in at all to this one?
I think there was some like referencing of it of sorts, meaning like Doctor Doom obviously wanting the ultimate power was definitely in it, and there was some other I think some referencing here or there, but they rebuilt a battle world and they did a lot of the similarities that were in this one, but. And then Doctor Doom obviously took on a massive amount of power in the collapsing of all these universes. He was able to tap into it and stuff like that. So obviously it didn't really have a huge impression on me. It was, what was happening and, Hickman did a great job was the fact that it was something that he had been building up for several issues in several titles so that it wasn't like an out of the blue like this thing was. It was something that was a natural progression from the existing comic lines, the comic series, and this was just like the culmination of all of that. So there was things going on in various titles that I had no earthly idea, and they were referencing in these other, and it kind of lost me in some aspects of it. So I wasn't really that invested in it because I wasn't buying the comics that led up to it. And it wasn't that much of a standalone series either. Even there's a Deadpool Secret Wars, and it was just a lot of randomness. There were these offshoot titles that were happening that I was like, I'm not going to get them all. I'll stick with the main series, and that was it.
I did read Deadpool's Secret Wars, which tied into this series that we just read. And that
Made it any better?
Yeah, it did actually. It implied that Deadpool was in this Secret Wars too, and then later everybody had their memory erased, so they didn't remember that he was part of it.
Classic.
Yeah, it was 4 issues. It's pretty good.
Hey, and 4 issues. A digestible amount of issues.
Absolutely.
Not 12 insufferable. I mean, the weird thing is the first 6 weren't bad, but the repetitiveness of it kicked in at issue 7, and it's like maybe we would have been better off to have just done the whole series at once.
Yeah.
But when you break it up in half, and it was just at that tipping point apparently from when it goes from issue 1 through 6, where it's like, hey, it's all the setup to 7 through 12, which is the payoff, and the payoff wasn't much outside of repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. It was definitely not worth it.
Right. It would have been definitely better if it was 8 issues. You could have taken out 90% of the battles from 6 to 12 and just hit the highlights and had one more massive battle between the villains and the heroes, and you could have done exactly what you did in the other 6 issues in just 2. Even if the last issue was giant size or whatever, it would have made a lot better sense to have it be short and sweet and to the point. It would have been great if we would have seen more Art Adams art.
I know it. It's like, where did this come from? I mean, and it's on the weird pages. I mean, I know Art Adams loves drawing like Godzilla and these giant kaiju and all this other stuff. So maybe they were like, who wants to draw monsters? And he was probably at the bullpen at that day going like, I'll do the monsters. Okay, here you go.
Right. It takes me back to those Uncanny X-Men annuals that, where he would go to Asgard and he would just do the entire issue. Or Adams would. And,
where
just gorgeous
Storm
art.
got Thor's powers, and his Monkey Man and O'Brien never really seemed to take off, but...
No, and even that art, I didn't care for as much as I liked some of his other stuff, even though it was his own characters, and you could tell he loved doing his own stuff. That art, I mean, it's still Art Adams, so it's still great, but didn't really thrill me as much as some of this X-Men stuff. Right. That's it. That's our review.
Spider-Man got his costume. The one real takeaway.
Yeah.
Spider-Man got a costume, and then ultimately that wound up being Venom. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. You have obviously done podcasting before, and in that particular podcast, you had done series as well. When you went over Secret Wars for that podcast, did you approach it differently than this one?
I don't think so. I think I took it about the same way. I remember enjoying it a lot more. Now it was whatever 10 years ago, so I was in a different frame of mind. I wasn't 50, so that right away.
Yes.
But I think I remember reading it, and there was certainly plenty back then to make fun of too. But reading it this time, maybe because it was a little fresher in my memory than it was the previous time, I looked at it a little more weary, perhaps a little more
Yeah.
tired eyes.
Yeah, you took one of the rose-colored lenses out of your glasses.
You're right, and perhaps I saw it maybe for a little more of what it was than what it
A super pervy
was.
book.
Super pervy toy failure because they didn't even make action figures for most of the characters in it anyway.
Yeah,
So
well, and they did figures that didn't even appear.
right, yeah. So I'm not sure I understand their marketing or their reason really to have this series out, other than it's set the stage for a bunch of events later on, which I also I go back and forth on whether we need all these events and whether it ruined comic books as we know it in this eternal loop of reboot, event, reboot, reboot
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I mean, this was handled a little differently where this was just an event. It wasn't intended to say, like, this heralds in a whole new era for XYZ universe or whatever.
Right.
We've done away with all the universes. No, we've added back a few of the universes. No, we added all of them back. Oh, no, we've only added a few back. Just like, trying to clean up continuity. And it's like, I don't think it's worth it.
Since this is the Valentine's Day episode, I did want to ask you your favorite couple in comics. Who would that be?
In this series, I would have to say, the Captain America Hulk, obviously. But
I was going to say Magneto and the Wasp, so.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. They, Colossus did get flowers. Magneto brought a comb. I like, as far as like comic hero, I like Spider-Man with Mary Jane. That's always going to be probably the most staple one. Spider-Man has always been about having responsibilities outside of being Spider-Man, and having that love interest kind of anchored him to having yet another responsibility. In some ways, it helped make him better, and then other ways, it gave him a weakness or one more thing to kind of worry about. And I like that more than I like the Reed Richards Sue Storm, because she also had tremendous amounts of power. So that didn't seem to be this like struggle to kind of keep a relationship going, when it was like, nope, we fight side by side, we eat side by side, we do everything we do side by side. So it didn't seem to be that much of a stretch, no pun intended, to have those two together. But I like Mary Jane and Spider-Man. And you?
It's funny how you kind of went to the iconic Marvel character. Instinctively went to the iconic DC character. I guess my favorite couple is Clark and Lois. Mostly,
Now, is that the Lois that knows that Superman's
yes.
Clark Kent?
Yep, they're married. The married couple where she figured it out, or she mostly the Byrne era Lois Lane. I think he did a very strong Lois Lane, and Dan Jurgens continued that. I've always enjoyed their banter back and forth, and where she is this independent kind of character that really doesn't. She became less the damsel in distress and more of a guiding force, which I enjoyed on that. Other than that, I've always liked Green Arrow, Black Canary. For me, George Perez's Nightwing / Robin and Starfire, like that's to me they're always a couple. I mean, they try to have Nightwing be with Batgirl and a bunch of other characters. But to me, it's always going to be the Marv Wolfman, Perez, Nightwing, and Starfire as a couple. I think they're always great together. Other than that, I'm kind of drawing a blank. Marvel-wise, I agree with you. Mary Jane and Spider-Man should be married and together. I don't think Captain America needs to be with anyone other than the Hulk and I don't know.
What about WandaVision?
Right? I mean, I do like Scarlet Witch and the Vision. That's kind of how I grew up. I do like Hawkeye with Mockingbird. I think that those two should always be together.
The very parallel universes of Hawkeye, Green Arrow, Mockingbird, Black Canary.
Exactly. Yep. And that's how it should be. Those are my top favorite couples. And there's a lot of Legion characters that I think should be couples.
True.
And stuff like that. Like that I think of instantly and that Bendis has ruined.
Bendis.
So, oh well.
Yep.
So that is our review of Secret Wars.
And you can tell how good the series is that we quickly talk about anything else as soon as we hit. And we wrapped up our recap of issue 12.
Let's talk about things we like. Tom Strong.
Yeah. It's like out with the bad, in with the good.
Alan Moore, Grant Morrison. So if you have any questions or concerns for us, please let us know. We have a Gmail. And this is why I love comics at gmail.com. We're on the Twitter. Come check me out. It's in the show notes, but I've been more active on Twitter lately, and it's been a lot of fun. And I've gotten to know some other podcasts, which is really nice and neat. We will be reviewing some other books shortly. We haven't decided yet. We're thinking Umbrella Academy, so that might be the one. But I'm waiting for Mike to finalize the issues.
Lock it down.
Coming up, we're going to be talking with a new comic book collector. I thought it'd be fun to us grizzled old veteran collectors.
New to the hobby.
Absolutely new to the hobby. And he's going to talk to us about what it's like to be a new collector, a new reader, or is he? And he's going to tell us some bad purchases he bought and some good purchases he got.
Yep. And what's it like to be young?
Yes, right. So that'll be fun. We can't wait to talk to him. And we have a couple other ones, guests lined up as well, but we'll talk about that as they get closer. There are a couple books I want on the list for this year, and I keep coming back to New Frontier, so we definitely want to hit
Darwin
Cook's New Frontier.
You can already tell we're going to be a little bit more favorable to that than
I'm
were to
already
Secret Wars.
favorable, and I've haven't read it in a while, so I think I've only read New Frontier once, so that'll be exciting to read again. And let's see, you got anything else, Mike?
No, I'm just excited about Valentine's Day and how love from superheroes is going to just warm my heart, and I extend that love that I got from this series onto my family.
Well said. So have a good Valentine's Day month, a good February. We'll come back with one more episode towards the end of the month, and we'll wrap up our February. We've got snow coming our way still, so everybody drive safe and have a good rest of the winter. And this is why I love comics. I'm Andy.
This is Michael. Staying warm.
We'll see you next time.
Toodles.
As always, thanks to Thunder Chicken for letting me use their music. Go check them out on Spotify.
Chevrolet Death Squad! That's right! Boom!
Why did we read this?
Because it
But-
was good in the 80s.